This right here is the gimbal I have been waiting for. This is the all-new DJI RS4 Mini. Let's get right into it. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Desmond, and today I have a gimbal that I've been really excited to test for a long time. This is the DJI RS4 Mini, and hopefully you notice something special here. It finally packs its own AI tracking module. So this video is sponsored by DJI. I'm gonna give you a full walkthrough of the gimbal, but we're gonna get straight to the point right off the bat. The reason why I have been so excited for a gimbal like this is because of this particular module right here. The RS Intelligent Tracking Module is exactly why I've been waiting for the DJI RS4 Mini. Now, don't get me wrong, this technology has actually been around for a year, maybe two now, from different companies, different brands, different types of gimbals. And due to my testing, it is one of the most useful pieces of technology for a solo content creator, a travel content creator like myself. When I can just place down the gimbal, it can track me and it can film. But the reason why I've been asking DJI to create something like this is because, sponsorship or not, DJI is known as one of the best gimbal creators in the game. They make fantastic gimbals, they work really well, they're built incredibly well, and of course they have a massive lineup of gimbals and stabilizers for any of your particular needs. And for me, the RS4 Mini falls into a sweet spot between two of my current favorite gimbals. And that sweet spot falls in between two of the most popular gimbals out there right now. This is the DJI RS3 Mini, incredibly compact, very lightweight, great build quality, but was lacking some features from their more pro-grade model. This is the RS4, not even the RS4 Pro, but there's a lot of features in this that make this a fantastic kind of workhorse. And the RS4 Mini brings together the best from both worlds. And here it is. This is the RS4 Mini. First thing I'm gonna call out in terms of comparing it to the RS3 Mini is it is bigger, but for good reason. It has the same payload, but it does include a number of additional functions from the RS4. So this is 2 pounds in weight, empty. The RS3 Mini is 1.8 pounds. They both have the same payload, so 2 kilograms, roughly 4.4 pounds. That's more than enough to handle my Sony FX3 and a 24-70 G Master Mark II. I'll throw that on in a second. Right now, I'm currently using the 16-25 2.8 G lens, which is my kind of go-to lens for travel filmmaking, vlogging, because I can get 16, I can get 25 out of it. It's not a very long range, but it's great for my use cases. The other thing let's just quickly address, 4th generation stabilization algorithm. I say it every time, it just means it's an improvement in how smooth the gimbal is. I've never had challenges with DJI's stabilization in the past, but this is better than the 3rd gen, it's better than the 2nd gen, and everything else kind of works as intended. Now, what's different with the RS4 Mini is, first of all, the colorway. I don't know if people are talking about it as much. I really like it. This just gives us that kind of gray, raw aluminum vibe, which I enjoy. And the other thing that I've been really happy about that I loved on my larger RS4 is the auto locking. This is also a game changer for me. The last gimbal that I had with this type of feature was the RS4, and now that we've got this on the RS4 Mini, it is awesome because it is just so much more convenient, and it really makes this feel like a pro level tool versus a ultra compact travel gimbal. A few other things that we're gonna call out about this particular gimbal is we've got now a mode toggle switch on the side, so you can toggle between pan, tilt, follow, and FPV mode. And that's the best thing about it, is you don't have to fiddle with the touchscreen. But speaking of the touchscreen, pretty standard stuff with any DJI gimbal. You have calibration, you have your different options here. You can adjust all of your settings, your Bluetooth connectivity, different modes, different speeds, motor calibrations, all of that, again, accessible via this LCD screen like it has been on previous models. But another switch we want to talk about here is on this side, we have a toggle between zoom in and out for the joystick, or just standard movement of the joystick here. So if you have a power zoom lens, you can just toggle this and you can zoom in and out of whatever you're using. The other thing, of course, is our dial wheel. Right now, I just have it set to tilt the gimbal itself, but you can set this to power zoom as well. Classic stuff, double click, recenters, triple click. We've got our kind of selfie mode right here. I actually really like it with the 16 to 25. It keeps the gimbal overall relatively light. Zooming in and out doesn't adjust the balance very much. These are pretty powerful motors, so it doesn't matter too much. But for me as a travel content creator, having this is awesome. Build quality probably goes without saying. If you've used a DJI gimbal in the past, is pretty industry leading. We have a all aluminum body. We've got a rubberized grip here, but what we've also got now is this Teflon coating along the arms, which makes it a lot easier to slide and adjust the gimbal for different balancing scenarios. If I want to throw the larger lens on here, it's very quick to balance it out. It's 2025. I mean, balancing a gimbal is very, very easy these days. But speaking of balancing, one of the features it did bring over from the RS4 is this little knob here has micro adjustments, but it makes it a lot easier to adjust and fine tune the balance for your camera. So again, when I switch this between the 16 to 25 and throw on the 25 to 70, balancing just becomes a lot easier. But again, when you're on location, when you're on set, being able to swap this out, quickly adjust it, get right back to filming is great. All right, I wanted to move through all of that as quickly as possible because let's just talk about why we're really here. Because without it, this is just a great gimbal. And it's all because of this RS intelligent tracking module. This right here, like I said, is something I've been waiting for DJI to bring to market for a really long time. Again, I've experienced it in different gimbals that I own, that I've used, but I wanted DJI to do it because I like their gimbals, and this was the big piece that I think was missing that would bring them up to at least market parity in terms of features with some of the other brands out there. Got your pins here, and it magnetizes right to the gimbal itself. And once it's powered on, of course, we've got our red ring light. You can turn that off if you want. I keep it on just so I know that it's tracking. I'm gonna go ahead and give it the okay. This is a symbol that I usually like to use with AI trackers, so you can adjust that. You can give it the hand, you can give it the okay. You can set different hand gestures to control the module, but right now I have it on this, which means now as I move around, the gimbal will follow me. Like I mentioned, this is not new technology, but it's something I've been waiting to come to a DJI gimbal so that I can at least get the best of all worlds. I personally use my RS3 Mini because it's so small and compact, but I switch over to my other gimbals with AI tracking because sometimes I just want to throw this onto the desk and film wherever I am. Now it's kind of all in one place. So let's go ahead and just test the tracking right now. Gonna give it the okay. As I mentioned, you can change this hand gesture to whatever you'd like, but now we've got the tracking on. The other thing that I mentioned earlier is if I give it the peace sign, we are now recording. So right now you are seeing the DJI RS4 Mini with my FX3, and that is currently recording me. The nice thing about this, again, in terms of convenience, is I can control the camera and the gimbal from this distance. If I want to step farther away, I can. I'm still going to get really solid active tracking. The other thing that I really like about this is we can change the responsiveness of the active tracking itself. So not only can I control everything, if I hop into the settings, I can slow down active tracking. For me, in the past, I've used gimbals with this type of AI tracking, and sometimes they're just too jittery. They're too responsive. So even micro adjustments when I'm standing here having a conversation, you can see that the camera kind of jitters around, keeping me in a very locked position. But the best thing about the RS4 Mini is you can adjust this. So I can change this to a slow responsiveness. I'm not doing that right now, but I can change this to a slow responsiveness so the panning and the movements feel a lot more fluid and natural and give me some time between these like small micro jitters. Or if you are tracking a different subject and you want to keep up with them, you can change this to fast, right? So it can just stay locked onto those targets really, really well. That is a level of convenience that doesn't come with some of the other options on the market, and that makes this, again, a better content creation tool because you do have the ability to fine-tune how the tracking is working for your particular use cases. The other thing that's really nice is I can reframe my shot. So if I want to move over here and reframe the shot again, now it's going to keep me on this side of the shot. Like I mentioned, I can doing a lot of the camera controls from back here. I don't have to walk over and interact with my gimbal via the touchscreen. I can just do everything using that tracker. And again, one of the reasons why you want a faster response speed is so it can keep up with you, but I'd say even on the standard speed, it is tracking me really well. But for those of you that like to create content, you tend to move around a lot, this thing is going to do a fantastic job of just keeping you locked on. And for the most part, the movement feels pretty natural. As I mentioned, I can slow this down so it feels even more organic. But for now, this is great for testing purposes, right? I can move a little bit closer, reframe the shot, and again, great tracking overall. Generally speaking, from a tracking perspective, is going to be great for a lot of content creators out there. It's going to really reduce that barrier to entry, and it's going to make it much easier to film by yourself. Okay, let's end this testing of the tracking. I'm just going to give it a nice little peace sign, and recording's over. So tracking is very smooth, and again, it goes without saying, because this technology has been around for a while, this isn't really a Gen 1. Maybe it's a Gen 1 from DJI, but this technology, it exists, so I'm sure they've had a lot of time to test it. It's incredibly smooth, it's very, very accurate. Now, another thing that came with this particular combo is the hand grip for kind of briefcase carry. I think people will like this if they're carrying much larger setups, but for me, I will personally be using this as my kind of solo creation travel gimbal. There is a mount on the side here. We can just toss that on, and then you're basically ready to go. I personally don't do undersling a lot. Everything this gimbal can do right now is exactly what I need, and also you can see as a travel creator, if I'm filming solo vlogs or kind of just like talking and walking, I no longer have to focus on the camera itself. Yes, that's a benefit that comes with any type of AI tracking gimbal, but the fact that it's on this little DJI is awesome now. So I can walk and talk, I can look at you, I can maneuver the camera in any different position, and because the tracking is locked onto me, it's going to keep me in frame no matter where I am. And of course, for a lot of creators out there, the other thing I'm going to show you, let me just turn this off, that never gets old, is native vertical mode. So now vertical mode on this is very similar, if not exactly the same as it is on the RS4. You turn the little knob, there's a little button, and of course you can see we have taken it off the track. Right here, we've got the same overall mount. But what we can do now is we can place it right on top. It clicks into place. Let's go ahead and lock this. And with the little rebalancing, the nice thing is these kind of Teflon arms are great. We've pretty much got it set to go, and then let's go ahead and turn it on. And just like that, we have a vertical shooting mode. And the best thing is we still have AI tracking. So again, if you are shooting yourself, doing vertical videos, this is a great option. Rebalancing takes about 10 seconds, which is very nice, and you've got vertical and portrait modes built right in. And here's what I'll show you too, is the mechanism is very simple. You just click this in and it delatches this entire plate where you can then mount it vertically or horizontally. So that's the thing that I'm really enjoying about this gimbal the most, is it brings the convenience from all of my favorite DJI gimbals into one. Our AI module, our self-locking and unlocking system, which is great. And then of course, we've kind of got that compact, lightweight form factor with that same 4.4 pound payload. So for the price tag, I think this thing really combines some of the best technology out there from a gimbal perspective. The AI module, like I keep saying, is the big item for me. That's the best addition they could have added to their entire lineup. And that's something that I'll be using pretty regularly. Now, this gimbal, I think it's gonna be a great option for content creators of every single level. Even those of you that don't use gimbals as a part of your normal workflow. Because yes, like a gimbal it's large, there are very particular shots that you may want to get when it comes to buying a gimbal, but the AI module turns this thing into really its own camera person, right? So I love the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. It just doesn't deliver the same quality as my FX3 or my A7CR or even my ZV-E1, any full frame camera. And the fact that now I can basically turn any of those into a gigantic Osmo Pocket 3 is still a big value to me as a content creator, even though I don't do a lot of normal filming with standard gimbal shots. The fact that I have an AI-powered tracking system, it's overall just going to reduce the barrier of entry for content creators, and it's also going to relieve a lot of the friction that comes with creating by yourself. But now we have this intelligent tracking module on something as high quality as a standard DJI gimbal. This is going to make a big difference for a lot of content creators out there, especially those just getting into the gimbal game. Like, I would recommend this over an RS3 Mini or an RS4. If you're looking for something to just create by yourself, this is a perfect hybrid option. All right, that is my overview of the new DJI RS4 Mini. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe for more videos just like this. I will catch y'all in the next one.